Imagine a place where even the air you breathe is monitored, where snipers scan every angle from unseen perches, and where hidden missile systems stand ready to defend at any second.
It is at least 6 stories deep.
In excess of 100,000 square foot.
The property itself has a 13-foot iron fence around its perimeter, with anti-climb technology and sensors. Its windows are seemingly normal, but actually bulletproof, pretty much prepared against the unimaginable. Security cameras, infrared sensors, and motion detectors ensure that any strange activity is instantly detected and evaluated. And above it all, the skies are untouchable. What makes this iconic landmark nearly impenetrable, and what mysteries do its walls guard? Let's uncover the hidden world of the White House, where history and security collide in ways you won't believe. We begin in 1791. James Hoban, Irish-born architect, takes a pencil to paper and draws out a dream that would materialize for generations. With classical European architecture as the protagonist, his design was deeply representative of the new American Republic. But the walls he designed were more than just sandstone and mortar. They held the hopes of a fledgling nation. And tragically, much of this grand structure was built with the hands of slaves, a sad reality within its foundational stones. As Hoban's creation stood for American democracy, the labor that gave it life was a jarring reminder of the nation's painful history with slavery. Since its construction, the White House has been a silent witness to the trials and tribulations in the growth of the United States. Bricks, beams, and corners tell the story of ambition, revolution, and quiet dignity that finally carved the nation's identity. For over a century and a half, it has been a residence of each U.S. president, a place where critical decisions would be made that outlined the future of the nation. The story does not stop at the role played by the White House as home and office. From its very inception, it was intended for security needs, and with time, its defenses changed with the times and grew more dangerous in the modern world. Years later, in 1814, the unimaginable happened. The British, during the War of 1812, burned down the White House. Flames swallowed up the night sky and could be seen from distances of up to 50 miles. While the fire raged on, the fate of the country's symbol depended upon a thread. Although the building's exterior was charred and destroyed, it managed to survive. Suddenly, it was as if nature intervened. Torrential rain came and doused the flames. The White House lived, scarred but unbroken. This was not to be the last time that it faced destruction. The incident had been a grim reminder of just how frail the most symbolic structures can be during times of war. Through the centuries, the presidents came and went, and the White House evolved. The rebuilding after the War of 1812, the construction of new wings, and the ever-changing needs of the sitting presidents contributed to the House's transformation. New wings were added, rooms expanded, and secrets buried deep beneath its floors. With each era came new challenges, new threats, and new advancements in security. By the 20th century, the structure of the White House was facing collapse due to the wear and tear of time. President Harry S. Truman, concerned for his family's safety, evacuated the residence. For survival rather than comfort, the building was taken down to the skeleton and rebuilt. Behind its floors, steel and concrete made a fortress hidden from view, a harbinger of marvels in security to come. Much of the advanced security measures were set in place during this renovation, setting the stage for what is now the high-tech fortress. The security of the White House today is nothing short of extraordinary. Imagine a place where even the air you breathe is monitored, where snipers scan every angle from unseen perches, and where hidden missile systems stand ready to defend at any second. The property itself has a 13-foot iron fence around its perimeter, with anti-climb technology and sensors. Its windows are seemingly normal, but actually bulletproof, pretty much prepared against the unimaginable. These windows are made of multi-layered glass that can absorb and disperse the impact of high-powered projectiles. They have been tested in some of the harshest conditions to ensure they can withstand even the most aggressive attacks. The fence itself is a testament to the power of innovation and foresight. Its base is reinforced with steel plates, and the sensors inbuilt in the fabric of the fence are able to detect even the faintest disturbance. Any attempt to breach it will trigger, within seconds, a sophisticated response that whisks a calculated series of actions into swift motion. From deploying security personnel to deploying automatic defense systems, the White House perimeter resembles a fort. The ground area around the White House is also carefully monitored. Security cameras, infrared sensors, and motion detectors ensure that any strange activity is instantly detected and evaluated. Security personnel stationed at different points within the compound always stay in contact with each other, ready to repel any threat. And above it all, the skies are untouchable. Since the tragedy of 9/11, the airspace above the White House has become one of the most restricted in the world. Any unauthorized aircraft foolish enough to make an approach will be dealt with swiftly, often before it even realizes it's being watched. But it's not just the ground-based defense systems that keep the White House safe. Highly trained pilots patrol the skies around the complex. Several miles of airspace around the White House is banned to all aircraft without prior authorization, and any unauthorized entry is immediately intercepted by military aircraft. But what's underground is arguably more intriguing. Beneath the ground, hidden tunnels weave a complex network that links critical operations centers, including the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, or PEOC nuclear-proof bunker, to other nearby facilities. According to rumors, these tunnels reach farther than any officials would like to admit, to the Pentagon, to the Capitol. Nobody can really tell, and that is exactly how it should be. These underground passages are not only for escape routes, but also for communication and coordination hotspots during times of crisis in the nation. The secrecy surrounding them only adds to the mystique of the White House's security apparatus. It is said that some of these tunnels have been in use since the Cold War, when the concern of nuclear threats drove the development of these fortified underground spaces. The deeper you go into the White House, the more subdued yet overwhelming feeling of awe begins to take hold. These corridors, stretching underground, were designed not only as safe havens during times of war, but also as strategic hubs for operations during times of crisis. The sophistication of these secretive structures can never be fully revealed, for they are an integral part of the security framework that guarantees the safety of the nation's leader. These facilities are equipped with everything the president and key officials would need in the event of a disaster, including communication systems, medical supplies, and even provisions for extended stays. Yet even with all this, the White House is not invincible. It has been tested by intrusions over the years. Some have been laughable, like a curious toddler slipping through the fence, while others have been chilling. Determined individuals breaching the grounds, risking everything. These incidents remind us that even the mightiest fortresses have vulnerabilities. In 1994, a man named Francisco Martin Duran attempted multiple damage at the White House from a nearby street. The hits damaged the windows, and the president and his family were very close to it. It was an act of terror which traumatized the nation. Afterwards, security around the White House would be reviewed, revamped, and heightened. A grim reminder that the White House is as much a building of power as it is a magnet for those seeking to harm it, either out of insanity, political motivations, or misplaced bravado. But probably most of all, it was the incident in 2014 when a man, Omar J. Gonzalez, climbed over the fence of the White House, dodged the heavily armed security guards, and sprinted through the front door before being tackled to the ground by Secret Service officers. That breach sent the nation in utter shock, prompting immediate and drastic upgrades in perimeter and interior security measures. Security forces were reshuffled, new technologies were installed, and procedures were revamped in a bid to ensure that such an embarrassing breach never happened again. But here's the paradox. The White House is a fortress, yes. Still, it's also the people's house, a place where citizens gather, protest, and celebrate. Its security has to balance impenetrability with openness, an impossible task that somehow it manages every single day. The White House is more than a residence for the president. It's a place for the people to unite in moments of great historical significance, injustices to protest or leaders to support. The relationship of the public with the White House is quintessential to the democratic process of the nation. One wants its security to allow this contact with the people, but yet provide safety for those inside. Since White House was created, well over 2.5 centuries ago, it has served as a gathering place of American people. This is a place of parades, festivals, and demonstrations of all kinds. It is where, through peaceful protest, Americans have expressed views on its steps. It has been the site of countless vigils in support of loved ones gone to war, and of crowds gathering in celebration of victory. It is here that the heartbeat of American democracy pulsates, here that the ideals of freedom and justice are not only solemnly celebrated, but lived out. But it is this very openness that makes it a target. The flow of visitors, tourists, and demonstrators never stops. It is here that security forces must always be vigilant. They merge into the crowds, noting everything that happens. It is not only a question of guarding the building, but also what the White House stands for: the democracy, the freedom, and strength of the American people. The security measures are as much about protecting the nation's ideals as they are about protecting the physical structure. And so the White House abides. It has survived fire, war, and the passage of time. Its walls have heard the whispers of dreams and the cries of tragedy. They've seen leaders rise and fall, moments of triumph and despair. And through it all, it stands as a testament to resilience and hope. It is more than just the home of the president. It is a symbol of the enduring strength of the United States. As we marvel at its security, let us not forget what it truly represents. More than a house, a living, breathing symbol of history, of perseverance, of a nation's unyielding spirit. Through our most trying times, this building stands to remind us of strengths and fortitudes this nation possesses. Behind its granite pillars, within its towering walls, deep beneath its floors, the White House has a story to tell other than just of bricks and mortar. It is one of survival, greatness, and an indomitable spirit that refuses to be broken, no matter the odds. While the sun has just set behind its stately columns, sending streaks of golden hues on either side, and lighting the building until it almost blazes from inside out with flickers steady as heartbeats, the White House becomes another beacon of hope, an enduring symbol of democracy, continuing to fire enthusiasm into not only its citizenry, but people across the world. From every corner of the globe, the White House beckons as a place where freedom and hope are defended, no matter the cost. The White House is not just a building, it's a story, and it's a story that keeps on being written.